So today, historically, obviously, we spend our entire year trying to raise money to give to other organizations. We like to recognize other individuals and groups in the community that do good. But today is one of those days where we get to recognize one of our own. And we take a lot of pleasure in being able to recognize the efforts and successes of one of our own. Okay, hold on. Let me work on the feedback part here. I got a sound technician coming. Until she gets here, if I first could have, we've been doing this award since 1949. And actually for several years prior to 1989, we gave away both a Lion of the Year and a Lioness of the Year for a spouse. In 1989, the forward-thinking individuals at International gave us permission to open the club up, and we started having women join the club as well. And so at that point, it was not as necessary to do a spouse award, and we moved forward. But first, if I could have, if any of the previous Lionesses of the Year are in the room, I didn't see any, but if they are, if you would stand so we could recognize you. Okay. Oh, sorry. Thank you. And then also, several of our past Lions of the Year are in the room. If you were one of our previous Lion of the Year award winners, would you please stand up? Joe, you can be the first one. If everybody else will follow Joe O'Connor. And for those of you who may not be aware, this is Tom Burke. He is a member of the club, long-standing, handsome devil, charming, and we're happy to have him. So as Lion President Jim mentioned, I apologize. Coral has been suffering with a bad back, but this morning also was suffering of quite the flu. Likes you people well enough, he didn't want to share it with you, so he asked if I would go ahead and do this. I'd also like to give some credit. He worked on this PowerPoint presentation with Reeford Theobald, and they put a lot of effort into it. Reeford is actually going on a family vacation up north and couldn't be here either, so you're stuck with me. I'll do as best as I can. Now, the nice part is I've got a great assistant in Shauna Grieger. Shauna's going to help run the slide portion here, so don't worry, I'm not touching the laptop or the PowerPoint. It should run okay because Shauna is here to handle that portion for us. So, as we get started, many of the members of our Lion of the Year committee, as they got together and they were discussing this honoree, we had a lot of surprise. Most surprising was that this might be one of the most qualified members and recipients we've had in years. But as Reeford Theobald would like to remind you, there is a case that some of our members perhaps might have Alzheimer's or just don't remember things as well. So that could be the reason we couldn't remember a better recipient in quite a while. Of course, being the youngest member of that committee, I think it's because we truly have a great recipient this year. So, all right. Our recipient this year for 2018 Lion of the Year is just another farm boy. That's right, he was born and raised on the banks of the mighty Mississippi River. Now, technically this young little hick, and I mean that description in the nicest way, I was born in Fort Morgan and, well, you know, it's northeastern Colorado, so I kind of resemble that remark. He was raised in St. Joseph, Louisiana, on a hobby farm, as some might call it, on a Mississippi River levee where they raised cattle. His mother, Melda, was a teacher. His father was the parish and tax assessor, and that's like being the county assessor here, which explains why our Lion of the Year is inexplicably affectionate and liked by Lionkin Brownlee. As a child, our future Lion of the Year also liked to pose for photos, and lots of photos, mostly without a shirt on. As we'll eventually see, he maintained this topless tendency pretty much for the rest of his life. His childhood has been described as as a kind of Tom Sawyer life, and he grew up in this rural parish in Louisiana and is still shrinking. Yes, he's still shrinking. As he got older, he found freckles and started to mature. with more freckles. As he got older, a few more freckles. Still adorable. Also a consistent haircut for many of those years. Surprisingly, his family visited western Colorado many times. Here he is with his younger sister. There we go, right there. And, as we've seen in many of his other photos thus far, continuing our theme of topless. Thank you. Eventually, he attended St. Joseph High School, and in 1963 was valedictorian of the graduating class of 15. Not only graduated in the top 7%, he was the top 7% of his class. Now, after high school, our Lion of the Year attended Louisiana State University. He first received his Bachelor's of Science degree in 1967 and then went on to become an MD. His specialty was radiology. He was an intern in the University of Colorado, and then time came to decide where to practice medicine, and he chose Grand Junction, Colorado. He started his medical practice as a Western Colorado Radiologic Associates in 1975, and he was the first to practice interventional, I love the words in your titles, this really is awesome, interventional radiology, a new medical field. At St. Mary's Hospital, our Lion of the Year was the principal driver in all the acquisition of new equipment. The very first PET-CT scan machine in all of Colorado was in Grand Junction, Colorado, thanks to our Lion of the Year. He was also the first to practice stereostatic breast biopsies. And in 1979, he joined the illustrious Grand Junction Lions Club. As you can see, he also discovered the Lions' annual trip to Lake Powell and now found a new outlet for his topless ventures. Though sometimes he was known to overdress for the board meeting at Powell, professionally, our Lion of the Year was a growing part of St. Mary's Hospital. He eventually became the chief of radiology and was instrumental in St. Mary's new pavilion. As a Lion, he was very successful selling those infamous and famous Lions Carnival raffle tickets. He's currently ranked 7th in the club in the total sales at roughly 73,268 tickets sold lifetime. Now, keep in mind, when our Lion of the Year first joined the club, we didn't sell those in books and the same denominations we did now. We sold those individually at $2 a piece. Quite an accomplishment. He's also an enthusiastic participant in the Lions Carnival Parade each year. And a few members, as you have already seen, luckily enough, dressed up as completely, or as in many different costumes as they could. If we could, just a few. Modeled by our very own previous Lion of the Year, Harry Griff.
But Hippie has gained weight over the years.
Elvis, the Pirate with Mahoney's. The cast from Dumb and Dumber, also with Mahoney. And Beavis and Bill Clinton. I mean, Butthead, sorry. Oh, Elvis again. Perhaps Superman, or some other version of Fred Flintstone. That one really annoying character from Saturday Night Live, Pat. And possibly my favorite of all time, Tim Woolen. All right, so by now you've no doubt recognized the many faces of our very own Lion, Dick Richard Fulton. Doctor. So, so for convenience sake, I will refer to our recipient from now on as Dr. Lion Dick Fulton. Dr. Fulton has always had an inventive mind and began toying with some ideas as early as 1997. What started out as some drawings on a napkin while he was at a conference became in 2000 the Sonoglow, a device to allow doctors to see needles during their operations. His invention was bought by the medical giant Johnson & Johnson, and still the market leader in its field, though under a different name. Stay on this page, thanks. Dr. Dick Fulton is also a devoted family member, so much that he has been married roughly 3 times. He has, that's right, he has 2 children with his first wife, Betty, and they are former Grand Junction Lion, our very own Shannon Fulton, and Ramsey. He has 2 children with his second wife, Mary, and they are Chris and Phil. And in 2004, by the way, Shannon, I didn't recognize you. It's good to see you. I miss you. In 2004, he married Barb. They had known each other since 1978, and Barb's first husband was one of Dr. Fulton's closest friends and business partners. Gary Roberts died in 1998, and in 2001, Barb and Dr. Fulton began to flirt. And they eventually married in 2004. Okay. In addition, we're going to go through some of his family pictures first. Maybe.
I did not set the timing on this.
No, Reefer did, so we can blame him. He's not here. Might have to touch the button. There we go. In addition to his medical practice, Dr. Fulton was one of the founders of a country western bar near 30 Road called the San Antonio Rose, or to many, simply the Rose. Now, how many of you ever actually went there? I never did, of course, but I'm sure a few of you frequented that fine establishment. It was Dr. Fulton and Gary's idea. They liked it, and they joined the plan, and then they recruited another gentleman by the name of Denny Granum, who some of our fellow Lions may know as well, because they needed some more bucks for the financing and the concept. As part of this bar's image, Dr. Fulton bought a red 1958 Cadillac convertible. This is not it, but it's the closest I could find to a real picture of that Cadillac convertible, which became the iconic image of the Rose. Dr. Fulton loved the car, but Denny Granum hated it. By the way, thanks for that bar. It was really good to me at one time. A lot of fond memories in that place. Thanks. Mostly picking up my friends, studying, and things on the side. Dr. Fulton had a tremendous impact on St. Mary's. He directed many various capital equipment campaigns over the years. He initiated and developed many various procedures and protocols at St. Mary's Hospital. He is a physician, an inventor who has made a huge difference in vascular and other diseases. He has been on the cutting edge of technological advancement in medicine since the day he arrived in Grand Junction. In 2005, Dr. Fulton retired from St. Mary's after 30 years to the day that he arrived. He spent the last 15 years as their chief of radiology. But he didn't slow down. The single invention in 2000 has now grown to well over 50 patents for medical devices. His inventions generally target, forgive me, thrombectomy, drug delivery, and recovery. If I say it fast enough, you won't know I screwed it up. CTOs, vascular access, and consumer health products. He has been the founder and or the CEO of over 7 medical device companies. Dr. Fulton is still actively involved in 3 of those companies: Infinium, get it right, Vascular Technologies, Capture Vascular Inc., and Awestruck Dental. In addition, all right, there we go. In addition to 4 children, he and Barb share 9 grandchildren. They love the outdoors. Richard loves to fly fish. He also enjoys the occasional topless photo, still over the years. And one thing that we haven't mentioned is Dr. Fulton's middle name, Eustace. And I believe I got that close to right. Eustace. Well, I didn't want to be Eustace. I wanted to be now. Sorry, that was my own joke. Eustace Fulton III. So, thanks to all of our Lions that participated in costume to get an idea of Dr. Fulton. I wish all of you here today hopefully got to appreciate his costumes and his appearance over the years, the things he's done. In talking to the media before this award, I highlighted the fact that our Lion of the Year award is more like a Lifetime Achievement Award, and it's an award for being a great member of our Lions family and of our community, and in this case, why I think it's so appropriate, because of your efforts, also a very wide spread beyond this community. Ladies and gentlemen, can you help us recognize our 2018 Lion of the Year, Dr. Richard Eustace Fulton III. If I could have both you and Barb please come forward. First off, Barb, thank you for helping this come together. All the work to get all the photos and the history and all of your efforts. I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the Lions.
You did a great job.
And I didn't entirely lie to you. I told you you were going to be the program today. Dr. Fulton.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
It's yours. I certainly appreciate the honor. It is a tremendous honor, and I'm not sure if I deserve it, in that I only sold $100 worth of tickets this past year, because I was out chasing some other things, which I hope to show you soon. But but back in the day, I was the ticket sales champion 3 times in a row, and I thought three-peat was a little tacky back in those days. But this honor is something unexpected, and there are a lot of people that contribute to the committees and to the ongoings of the Lions Club that I haven't contributed to, and I think that they are deserving of the greatness that the Lions Club is. Somewhat more than me, probably, but it's an honor. Thank you. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you didn't mention the carnival costume that I was twice of O.J. Simpson. So, but
Should we talk about how with one of your associates in costume, he was thrown out of City Market as well?
Yes. Yeah, we went to a City Market to sell some tickets right at the last minute. Brian Mahoney and I did as Beavis and Butthead, and we had little lighters. We were lighting it in people's faces, and they told us, "We're going to call the cops unless you leave." So that was a good old days. But thanks so much. I certainly appreciate it, and I had no clue that this was coming down or coming off until.
We're going to reschedule your presentation.
Oh, are you? Okay, that's good. I have it ready to go.
Time next time. I cheated you on this time.
I have it ready to go, and I was looking forward to it, but it
You can practice more.
but it's a great honor to receive this. Certainly, I had no idea it was coming, and it certainly is a touching at the very least. And and so thank you. Thank you.
President, for the remainder of today, Jim, it's your meeting. Dick, you